Hey, creative, we are going to do some myth busting today. We're going to dive in and look at some of the most common misconceptions about what being a freelancer and specifically a creative freelancer is all about. Many of you have been working as photographers or designers for a while now, and maybe you're pretty comfortable with the word freelancer or calling yourself a freelancer. But there's so many people who are coming into the freelance space now, and there's so many people who are now looking at possibly hiring us that I wanted to debunk some of the misconceptions about what being a freelancer is like and what working with a freelancer is like. I'm going to kick off this episode of Coaching for Creatives with some of the misconceptions and why I think they're wrong. Hello, if you're joining me live, please do make a comment. Let me know that you're here with me. If you're watching this on the replay, put replay down in the comments so that I know that you have got this content. Welcome to Coaching for Creatives. My name is McKay. I am the founder and business coach at Business of Creativity, where we work with photographers and designers to help you earn more, stress less, and feel confident in your business. And one of the biggest misconceptions there is about freelancers and being a freelancer is that freelancers have to do everything alone. Yeah. A freelancer, even if they are a solopreneur, absolutely does not have to do everything alone. In fact, all businesses need some kind of support. And that misconception that freelancers don't actually need support or they do everything alone is what we're here to break down today. I'm going to talk about 5 of the misconceptions around support and freelancers working alone. If I miss anything, let me know in the comments. What are some of the misconceptions about freelancing that you are confronted with on a daily basis? The first one I'm going to dive into is this misconception that freelancers need to do everything on their own or have to do everything on their own. And it's just not true. Freelancers need support in the form of things like feedback and critique. Even just getting feedback from your clients is a form of supporting your growth and your development. Support in the form of legal consult or information about setting up their businesses. This isn't something that you can just source yourself. Getting support is going to be an integral part of moving forward. The next piece is that there's this myth that freelancers do their creative work alone, that I'm going to, even as a photographer, that I'm going to go off and I'm going to do my photography and then I'll bring it back, but I do all of the creative stuff by myself. And it's just not the case. A lot of photographers thrive in collaboration where they're working together with other creatives. A lot of designers thrive in collaboration. If you are a working freelancer and you've been feeling isolated and supported, maybe there's an opportunity for you to make some connections and to go out and collaborate with another creative. It's a great way of reducing some of that loneliness that can come from being a solopreneur. Another misconception around freelancers, creatives, photographers, and designers specifically, there's this misconception that there's a lack of training or mentorship or resources for freelance creatives and designers. And for a long time, this was really true when it came to business. There's always been training and mentorship around our creativity or our craft, but there was for a while, there was a real gap. And so I think that misconception is a hangover from a few years ago. Certainly, this was the gap in the marketplace that Business of Creativity was designed to fill. I really saw that there wasn't a lot of business training or marketing training or operational training out there for creatives. And it's why I developed Business of Creativity. And I think now when you look out in the world and you're looking for additional training or mentorship, You might see a lot of kind of band-aid solutions where you can take one webinar or you can take one course or you can learn a little piece of it over here. And that can be really helpful because that can be bite-sized pieces for us to learn and implement. But I think that what's really powerful is when you get an opportunity to combine the mentorship with the training together. And there are options out there. Of course, we have our business mastery program, which is a huge comprehensive training program that can truly support you in mastering your business, and other options to serve you specifically because we know that freelancers do better with training and mentorship. Another myth or misconception is that freelancers can't really afford to hire help. And that's just not true. I work with freelancers that are at all different kinds of income levels, all different kinds of time investments in their business. So some are doing it as a side hustle, some are doing it more part time, some are doing it more full time, all different income levels. And let me tell you, these freelancers have hired support. They've hired a coach or a mentor, or they've joined a community of support and can absolutely afford to do that. But more importantly, if you can afford to hire support in areas that are not your zone of genius, it can free up your own time and energy to focus on the stuff that really makes you feel more fulfilled as a freelancer. This idea that freelancers are going to be flying solo. They don't have any training. They don't have any mentorship. They do all their creative work by themselves. This piece is just not true. And many freelancers are starting to outsource pieces of it. They're hiring help, they're hiring support, and they're getting better results. The final misconception about freelancers not really needing support is that I think that there's a belief that somehow because creatives are doing work that they love, that their emotional state is in this constant state of high and pleasure and woo, I get to just live my dream. And certainly for part of the time, we might be in that flow or that creative state. But there's a lot more that goes into being a freelancer where you might want to be supported emotionally. I absolutely believe that freelancers need a lot of emotional and sort of mental support, environmental support from your family, from your spouse, giving you the space to do your creative work, understanding the demands that your freelancing work needs, but also the emotional support that can come from having a coach or a really authentic network. Now, of course, I'm telling you all about this because I believe so strongly in busting the misconception that freelancers are solo beasts or beings. We are absolutely human and thrive in collaboration, in connection, in communities of support, with feedback, with tools, with training, and with mentorship. If that's something that's been missing for you, let me know. I have free events that are open to any creative freelancers out there that happen monthly, and they're a great place for you to start getting back connected to what support might look like for you. Thanks so much for listening all the way through. I hope these 5 misconceptions about being a freelancer were helpful for you. Please, again, if I've missed anything, let me know in the comments. I'm McKay, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Coaching for Creatives.